Hello everyone, it's Martha here with you for LLLC Crafts, and today I want to show you the Club LLLC Crafts March 2019 Club Kit. This month's kit is valued at $79.99 retail, and you get the kit for $39.99, so an incredible value. So this month's kit is baking themed for all the bakers in your life, or just perfect for birthdays or invitations or parties or anything. So this month's kit has Love to Bake Marcy, and she comes with 2 sentiments. Baker's gonna bake, and you are a cupcake in a world full of muffins. And you've got 3 adorable hamsters. One has a cake and a spoon, and one has a cupcake, and then one has a whisk and a little baker's hat. And you have the sentiments happiness is, and you can do a piece of cake or a cupcake. And then you have whipped up just for you, hey cupcake, or eat more cake. And the dies this month are so much fun. So you've got the electric mixer die, and it comes with the bowl and the mixer. I just keep mine together because I mostly color my die cuts with Copic markers, so I don't need to cut them out of different cardstocks, but that is one of the options as well. And then there is the Build a Cake die. So you've got the larger layer, the smaller layer, and then you've got the frosting layers that go in between. And then you also have the strawberries that come with that to go on top of the cake or on top of the cupcake or wherever you want. Our design team has got so many ideas for this kit. And then we've got the cupcake dies. We've got the bottom and the top there. Really cute. So I do store my rubber stamps on the laminated sheet that comes with the club kit because it's just really nice and sturdy and it holds them perfectly. So I love that. Okay, let's get started making our project with this kit. So we're gonna be making a cute little tiered recipe box today. So what you're gonna need, so you are going to need 3 pieces of cardstock, and they can be whatever color you want. I'm using Kraft Cardstock, and they're going to measure 7.5 by 9, so 9, 7.5, and then you're going to need one that is 7.5 by 8, and you're going to need one that's 7.5 by 7. So these will be for our compartments, and then you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard for the front and back. So you're going to need a larger piece that is 5.5 by 6, so 5.5 tall, 6 inches wide, and then you're going to need one that's 4.5 tall and 6 inches wide. And I did use our lightweight chipboard that we carry in the store. It's fantastic. It works beautifully with our dies. We have absolutely no problem cutting with it. It is my go-to chipboard for die cutting because it's still a nice weight, but it goes through the die cutting machine beautifully. So the first thing we're gonna do is get our front and back cut. So you will need the stitched bracket die, for that to do our legs. So what you're gonna end up with once we've cut the legs is you're gonna end up with this bottom part of the front of the box. So how I measured it is I lined it up like this, upside down, and I'm cutting it. I'm gonna run it through the machine, and I'm gonna cut it, sorry, like this. Something was wrong there. So I'm gonna cut it like this. I'm gonna run it through the machine like this, and I've measured in 3/8 of an inch on both sides. So you would take your ruler and you would line it up like this, and you would measure in 3/8 on this side and 3/8 on this side. Or if you're like me sometimes and you just want to wing it, you can do that too. Just place it on there and kind of just eyeball it left to right and then run it through the machine. But if you're a measurer, it is 3/8 in on both sides. So what I did, I'm gonna get my die cutting machine here, my trusty Cuttlebug. So what I did when I run it through the machine, I'm going to line it up. I'm going to line it up like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the bottom of my chipboard in line with, let's get it up here so you can really see. So I'm going to have the sides touching these 3/8 marks, and I'm going to have the bottom in line with this here and this. So from here down will not be on our chipboard. It's going to be hanging off like that, okay? So we're going to put it in our die cutting machine. We're going to line it up like so. And then we're going to put our top on, our B plate, in this case, with the Cuttlebug. All right, and I'm going to carefully run it through the machine. Sorry if the camera shakes for a second here. And then back just to be doubly sure. All right, take this out and move my machine. All right, so now we'll take this off, and you see it just cut like butter through that chipboard. And so this is what we have now. These are our legs. So this will be the back of our recipe box, and this is all going to make sense as it comes together. And then you're going to take your 4.5 by 6-inch piece, and you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to get your piece, you're going to do your 3/8 of an inch marks on each side, or just eyeball it, it's totally up to you, and then line it up like this and run it through your machine. Okay, so you're going to end up with your front piece and your back piece. And I already have my front piece and my back piece ready to go. Okay, so the next step will be to get our compartments ready for our box. So the largest piece, which is your 9-inch by 7.5, you're going to line it up at the 7.5-inch side in your scoreboard, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 6.5 and 7. Okay, all the way down. So you're going to score all the way down, and then you're going to flip it like this so that the 9-inch side is along the top, and you're going to score at 4.5 and 4 3/4. And I'm going to have all the measurements down below in the description box, so there's no need to fret about that. So next we're going to go with our 7.5 by 8-inch piece, and you're going to score that at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 6.5 and 7, and then you're going to flip it and score it at 3 3/4 and 4 1/4 on the 8-inch side going along the top. So next you're going to have your 7.5 by 7-inch piece. So be careful with this one because they're almost the same size. Be careful how you're scoring. So you're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 6.5 and 7, and then you're going to flip it and score at 3 1/4 and 3 3/4 all the way down. Okay, so now from this point forward, all the pieces are going to be cut exactly the same. So you're gonna grab a scissor, and I'm gonna show you how to do the smallest one, but they are going to be cut exactly the same and the assembly is going to be identical. So you're going to cut up this score line all the way to the second score line here and over. So this whole section here is gonna go away. So this whole section here and this whole section there, we're gonna cut out. So we're just gonna cut along the score line here, all the way up to the second score line. I like to flip it over just to get a nice clean cut on the other side. All right. So now we've cut out that piece. And then again, we're gonna do the same thing here, all the way up to the second score line. And then over. Okay, just like this. So this is what you're gonna have. You're gonna have like a big T shape. And you're gonna do the exact same thing with your 9-inch piece and your 8-inch piece. You're going to cut all of this out and all of this out. So you're gonna cut up here and over to your second score line, up here and over to the second score line. Okay. So now we will fold on all our score lines, and you're gonna fold inward on all of them. Inward, inward. Okay. So now we've got that. So now the idea is we've got these like this. So we're gonna bring this back section up to meet that section there. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use some score tape, some 3/8 of an inch score tape, because it fits perfectly on your 1/2-inch flaps here. So apply your score tape. And we're gonna remove the backing. And then we're gonna bring this in, and we're gonna meet this to this in here, like so. So make sure that you're nicely lined up there. And then the rest should naturally come in. So just make sure you've got, take your time on this step. Make sure you've got a nice, clean, crisp edge back here, because the side will be visible in our box. All right, I'll remove the backing from the other side. And we do the same thing. We bring it in like this. Let's flip it over so I can see it better. And we meet this edge to this edge in here. Make sure you've got a nice square, clean edge there. And then just bring in the rest. And then you can use your scissors or bone folder, whatever you might have around, and press those inside so that the tape is nice and pressed down. Now, if you happen to have any little overhangings like this, you can just go ahead with your scissors and just give them a little haircut. I barely have too much here, so we're just gonna give them a little haircut. Okay. So I have mine ready to go here. I have so this is the largest one, which is our 7.5 by 9, which is this one. And then the 7.5 by 8, which is this one. and then we just put together that one. So the finished measurements of your boxes should be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That'll be your largest one. The medium one will be 5 1/2 by 3 3/4, and then your smallest one will be 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you're going to be going down 1/2 inch with each box size. Okay, so the next step is to take the largest, the back of our box. So the piece that was 5 1/2 by 6 inches. So just confirm that. Yeah, so the piece that was 5 1/2 by 6. The first thing I want to do is I've got some ground espresso distress oxide ink, and I will just use the back of one of these to ink my edges on this. So I'm going to go ahead and ink around the entire perimeter of this piece here. It'll just help our legs to stand out more. And you can use any any ink that you want for this step. I just really like the ground espresso color on our chipboard. So we're going to ink all the way around. Like this. All right, and that's going to give you your inked background. And this piece here, so the black layer measures, the black layer measures 4 3/8. Better correct this here. 4 3/8 by 5 3/4, and then the white measures 4 1/4 by 5 3/8. And then I used our plaid stamp that comes with the Just For You background stamp, and I stamped it in the fossilized amber ink. And then what I did after that, I took and inked with the ground espresso all the way around the edges of this, and then I went back with the fossilized amber over the ground espresso just to give it that kind of vintagey feel in there. Okay, so we are at the assembly stage. So I did the same thing for the front and the back, and the measurements will all be down below for the layers for these two pieces. Okay, so let's get it put together. So we're gonna take our largest box, which is the 4 1/4. Yeah, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We're gonna take the largest one, and we're going to center it on our back panel. So by center it, you're not going to see a whole lot of our stamping back there, but that's okay. I just wanted a little bit of something back there. So we're going to take, and you're going to put glue all around the back. So I like to use wet glue for this step, just so I have some wiggle room in case, because this is one of those things where you have to get it all lined up. Alright, so I've got glue on the back there, and we will center it in there. So I'm centering it left and right, top and bottom on that stamped piece back there. And again, you can take anything you want. I'm going to use my scissors because they're handy, and we'll go in and press that down, kind of making sure we're not moving it too much as we're pressing it down. Okay, next we will go with our medium-sized box, And we'll put glue on that. All around the edge. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we are going to line up the bottom of our first box like that, and the bottom of our second box, just like this. So get it nice and lined up, and again, you can go in with the scissors and press that down. The glue should take pretty quick. I do prefer the Fabri-Tac for this step because I feel like it works really well and it doesn't bubble your paper and it dries clear. Well, it's already clear, so. All right, and now we're gonna go with our third box. Put this to the back so all of our measurements are hidden. Okay, and we're gonna line this up. Again, we're gonna line up the bottom. Make sure it's square to the bottom, like that. And then side to side, it's nice and square. All right, it's starting to come together. And then again, we will burnish it down in there with our scissors. All right. Make sure it's all nice and square. Okay. And then we're ready to attach our front layer. So you're kind of seeing how it's all gonna come together. So I'm gonna put glue on this piece here on our front box. That way I know I'm not putting glue anywhere on the front panel that I shouldn't be. And so what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to align our legs the best we can. So we'll stand it up and kind of tap it like this, and then turn it around and kind of move it, you know, side to side if you need to. Just make sure that it's centered on your box there. And it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good centered left to right there. Just like that. All right, so just make sure that it stands, and then you kind of know that you got it right. Perfect. Okay, so now our inserts, I created 6 inserts, but there's a ton of room and you could probably do 4 or 5 inserts to write your recipes on in each section. So I cut them to kind of fit the tiered effect. So I will tell you in a minute the measurements here, but the back one is the largest, and then it goes down to a medium, and then down to a small. Okay, so that's how it's meant to look, like that. And I cut all of my pieces with this month's club dies, and then I colored them in with Copic markers. Okay, so the largest piece here, which is the one that goes at the back, measures, the black measures 4.5 by 5 1/4, and then the white measures 4 1/4 by 5. So it goes down 1/4 inch. So I've got 2 pieces that are that size. And then the next one, the black measures 4 by 5 1/4, and the white is 3 3/4 by 5. And again, there will be 2 pieces that size. And then the smallest layer, or the smallest insert that goes at the front, is 5 1/4, the black by 3 1/2, and then the white is 3 1/4 by 5. So we've got 2 of each size. So we've got 2 of the medium, 2 of the large, and 2 of the small. And they all go in like so. And like I said, it's quite a big space in there, so you could probably fit a good 3 to 4 or 5 even inserts in there to write all your recipes on. Or you could pre-print your recipes and then cut them to size and put them in there. So it stands up like that. All right, so let's work on finishing the front of our book. We're gonna decorate it. All right, so I've got Marcy here, and I did some stamping where I stamped Marcy first, and then I covered her up. I used some masking paper and stamped on there, and then I cut it out, and then I covered up Marcy and I stamped in the little hamsters. And then when you take that off, it shows you the hamsters. Actually, sorry, it's the reverse. You stamp the hamsters first, and then you mask them, and then I stamped Marcy. Sorry, I'm thinking backwards. All right, and then I have 2 of our banners from our long flags die. They're flags, not banners. So those are gonna go here like this. And then this is from our curtain die, this piece here. And then the large circle that Marcy is on is from our double stitched circles, and it's the largest one. And then I actually used the cake die from the club kit to create the sentiment mat here. So I used the largest one for the aqua paper, and then I used the smaller one for the white paper, and I stamped the Eat More Cake sentiment on there. And this sentiment, happiness is a piece of cake, is also from the club kit. Okay, so let's glue some of this stuff on. So I think the first thing I want to do is glue our 2 banners or flags together. All right, so kind of place them on there and see how far apart you want them. So just kind of pull them, and don't worry about the extra glue, that's gonna get covered up. All right, that's probably where I want them. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna run a little bit of glue along the bottom of the banner there, like that. There's the flag. And then I'm gonna place my curtain die, kind of centering it left to right. And then put glue, kind of try to keep it between the curtain die because we know that's gonna be on the box itself. So again, I'm gonna probably still move this if you need to. Looks good there. All right, and press it on. This is the fun part, the decorating, where you get to play. All right, and then I've got my Marcy, and the hamsters are popped up onto this circle with foam adhesive. And I did do that as well on the back of the circle. So we'll get this on there. Center it on the box. Just like that. All right, and then our little sentiment's gonna go there. And then the cupcake die, which is also from the kit, and I colored it up with markers with Copics again. I'm going to place that on this side like so, and then to eat more cake dye or sentiment, oops, it's going to go right over here on this side. All right. Okay, and that finishes up our cute little box. So I hope you guys like it. So it looks all standing up like that. And then that is the bottom view. So I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.